So I was up in Kansas City this weekend and got to attend KC Retro for the first time personally. Nice little retro gaming convention / swap meet held at the Overland Park Convention Center. Very nice place. Everything you could expect in a retro gaming convention. You got all sorts of old school video games for purchase and play. They had a lot of arcade machines and pinball machines set for free play, which was great. Comic books, toys, collectibles, you name it. Costume contests, video game contests. There was even a brand new Neo Geo game out there that's also coming out on different platforms. Nice little side-scrolling beat 'em up that I got to check out. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And one of the other reasons I showed up to the convention was it was going to be one of the first times you get to see and play the brand new novablast arcade cabinet from Unico USA. Now Unico is the same company that released the Neo Geo NVSX little 3/4 scale home arcade, which had 50 games on it, and it was well received. But with this novablast, Unico is basically going to do something completely different. There will be no included games initially, but it'll be very versatile. It'll be able to plug in a miniature PC, a retro emulation device. It'll have JAMA compatibility as well as other arcade boards. So if you have a arcade board collection, you can plug those in. Like I said, if you got a PC, mini PC, Android emulation device, you can hook up all those devices natively to the controls. That way you can basically play anything you want. It comes with their 26-inch Phoenix LCD monitor, which has 1080p resolution as well as 4:3 aspect ratio, so you don't have to have this honking 16:9 widescreen cropping, any of that kind of nonsense. You can rotate it so you can have it horizontal or vertical, which is nice. So if you really enjoy those tape mode games, you can play it in their native aspect ratio with the vertical orientation. Also has an optional base. Unfortunately, the base wasn't there. That's one thing I really wanted to see and get a sense of a scale. But they've assured me, they're still trying to work out little ideas here and there as far as fine-tuning and retuning the base, the stand itself. It will have a functional coin door inside, but they also told me that they will have versatility. So at the bottom of the base, you'll have the option for just traditional leg levelers, or you can have wheels. In fact, Unico was very late to the convention. The convention was Saturday and Sunday, and due to unforeseen personal circumstances within Unico employees, they weren't able to get there until around 4 o'clock on Sunday, and the convention ended at 6, and it took them about an hour to set everything up. So it was very limited with how much personal experience people got, but here's some on-hand video of them setting the unit up, and I'll let them explain the internals and what's going on inside the shell of the tabletop.
All right, guys, here's an inside look. We're setting up for the convention right now. This is the Unico novablast candy cab. And if you look at things right here, first off, it connects into our main board, which allows edge connection for doing JAMA and such like that. But it also controls our actual encoders for D input, X input, and SDL. And there's 2 for each of that right there. And of course, you got your SanWa sticks, your buttons. Then you got player 1, player 2. If you want to go around to the back, you can actually see a little bit more, so that way you can kind of get an idea. If you notice, it's a complete board. It's got even more plugs there. This actually runs off of an arcade power supply, so it's what will provide the power for the monitor once we get it in. But like I said, this right here is for your SDL, D input, and X input, so any type of emulation, or let's say an Xbox 360 or anything else, can be hooked in via USB. Then you've got your edge connector. We've got 3 different types of adapters to go ahead and be able to do like all the Capcoms, some of your specialty Naomis and things like that. So anything that's out there, to include JVS, I've already, shame on me, hooked it up to the hacked version, even though I have a Type X3, just because I wanted to test more games. And it worked just like the JVS input. Now, will it work with a real one? I haven't tried the Type X3 yet, but I would assume yes, it will.
Rocker back here for your power.
Yep. And then of course you got two intake fans here, and right here is where you can go through to the base, but you can also put your boards down in the base.
Storage.
Let's say you have a CPS2,
yep.
Well, you just run it up and then hook your jam in right there, so you don't have a big old jumble up here. That's what the base is for. Yeah, it's all metal construction, every bit of it. 100%. That's one of the biggest things that Rick Medina and Neil Hernandez at IAPA thought of it. He was like really impressed, and then he also was impressed the fact that our control panel is a 1-to-1 drop. Yeah. So if you wanted to go ahead and put your Astro City controller panel in there,
it's like
you can do it.
Dead to rights as far as
That's one thing people came up with. Well, could 2 players really set at this game and play? Well, in the video I released today, you can see 100% that two people can get on it just like they would an ordinary Astro City. So basically at this point you've got an Astro City at home at a less cost and the ability to be able to do multiple things with it versus just being stuck with one thing.
Thinking as far as weight for just the top portion? What's the monitor and everything on?
The monitor weighs 12 pounds by itself, so if you did everything, I would say probably naked 60 pounds.
Okay.
Now you start putting other things in it, then you're looking at a whole other story.
Becomes a whole different
Yeah. And as you'll see when we get this done, there's brackets in here that you can actually rotate the screen, so you can either go tape mode or,
I was curious how that works.
or vertical. Now it's not just push and rotate.
Yeah.
You actually physically have to unscrew and then screw it in the other way. Yeah, we made sure you can mount your hapsticks if you wanted to, your Sanois or your Ills. It's got 3 different mountings or 4 different mountings on it. Well, this is the Phoenix Monitor Series ULM 26 CRT, arcade CRT replacement monitor. Right here is the actual monitor. I'm going to leave that on until we get it inside the candy cab. If I can get it out. But right here, if you guys look, you got your HDMI, your VGA, and then you got your RGBS, which will pretty much do all the JAMAs. On the new converter board, we're thinking about actually adding the component input. So that way it'll be easy for anybody that's got, let's say, an Xbox or something like that. And then of course you got and that's the OSD controller right there. Guys, there's the mounting for the ULM 26 inside the novablast. It's on both sides, and then on the top and bottom, we didn't put the bottom bracket on, is this bracket for your tape mode, AKA vertical. Here's our amplifier and what provides power to like the external fans and different things like this. This is like basically a power board, but also connects into USB. That's how it gets its power from the main board.
So after seeing it put together, learning about all the internals, actually getting to play this thing, seeing it firsthand, experiencing it firsthand, I gotta say my overall first impressions were very, very good. This is definitely checking a lot of boxes for something I personally want in my collection, something I think serves a lot of versatility, and that's what I'm excited the most about. I can plug in a PC, I can emulate pretty much whatever I want. The control layout, you got 8 buttons, so you can play modern fighters, you can play older fighters, you don't have to be limited to the 6 buttons that you would find traditionally on a lot of arcade setups. It's got a 1-to-1 Astro City control panel basically inside that, so you don't have to worry about it being overtly cramped. It's, like I said, 1-to-1, so if you think the Astro City or the Blast City candy cabinet's too cramped for you, well then you'll probably think this is too cramped, but it's not shrunken down by any means. It is a full-size arcade control panel as it would be found on a traditional Japanese candy style arcade cabinet, so that is very nice. The metal construction, felt great about that. This is a prototype unit. It's been shipped all over the country already, so I had nicks and dings here and there. But I feel good about it. It didn't feel like it was paper thin metal that you could just press against it and leave a dent. You would have to physically drop it or kick it really hard to leave a dent. And God bless UPS. They clearly had beat this thing up a little bit. There was little things, like I said, they were late to the party on this, so they basically slapped it together really quick that way so people can experience it. They didn't, screw down the bezel or anything like that, but everything was held in place and it held together fine, even, with it just being kind of shoddily put together on the fly really fast so people can experience it for the convention closed. But, and overall, I really like the lightweightness. Now, it is made of metal and it is, going to be around 70 pounds, but it's still, a fraction of the weight of a traditional arcade candy cab. And since it is, split in 2 pieces with the base stand as well as, the upper body tabletop. You don't have to buy the bottom base if you don't want to. You can buy them both. It's easier to move that way, easier to transport. You can haul it up and down a flight of stairs without absolutely killing your back. So, that's great for collectors and in-home arcade enthusiasts. I think that's going to be something that really sells this. Additionally, again, seeing this 26-inch LCD monitor for the first time, I've been very curious about it ever since it's been announced, but seeing it in person, the viewing angle, the crispness, the colors, everything looked great. I like, it's plug and play, essentially HDMI, VGA, or your standard arcade inputs. And they also talked about maybe also later on down the line adding component, which would be even more versatility for connections and basically plugging anything and everything you want. If you don't want a mini PC in there, you can put a console in there. Like I said, you can put like an Android emulation box, you name it. Your heart's desire can go into that. It's already got SAMWA controls, which will make a lot of people happy. So I think it looks great. Obviously, the main question everyone's going to be asked is how much is it and when does it come out? Well, ideally, it's coming out next year at some point. They did give me a window and they did give me a price, but unfortunately, I'm not able to regurgitate that information. I was just asked not to share specifically what the price point is, but I can tell you it will be competitive. I've seen a lot of prices floating around as far as discussion about this, and everything I've seen as far as people guessing. It's actually cheaper than a lot of the guesses I've seen, so that's great. If you're in the market for a Vuelix cabinet, I would say maybe don't spend your money on that. That's all I would say there. But I know they will officially be announcing the pricing in the next couple of weeks. At least that's their goal, and hopefully pre-orders in the same kind of time frame. So you got dual speakers up there, the header, and again, like I mentioned earlier, the header can be traded out for a different style one if you don't like that. You got dual speakers, you got dual fans, exhausting, you know, the heat out of the backside of this machine. You got a lock mechanism, that way you can keep the backside closed off if you wish. You also have LED strips back there to illuminate the marquee. But at the end of the day, I really liked what I saw. I enjoyed playing the game. We only got to test out Contra Evolution, nice little emulated Techno Parrot game off of the mini PC that they had going in there. Ran well, there was no lag issues, looked great on the screen, the display looked great, so no complaints there. And since I'm personally going to be probably running a mini PC in a unit like this, that was perfect for me to test. I would have loved to see it connected to a JAMA board, but you know, due to time constraints and everything, it just wasn't possible there at the show, unfortunately. Just ran out of time to have that going on, but definitely looking forward to checking this out. Really looking forward to, honestly, picking one up myself, because I think it'll serve a great purpose of having a very versatile machine that does pretty much everything I want, and it's easy to put inside my house without having to break my back hauling it up a flight of stairs. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are of this product. What kind of price point would you like to see? Are you even interested in a Japanese style candy cabinet? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, guys. Really means a lot.